This video is part of a two-part series in which we talk about the whale watching experience. On this video, we're talking about the details of how to get there, how to get back, and all the things you know to figure out how this is going to happen. In the next video, we're going to share the experience of petting and seeing and interacting with the whales. Amazing! We're going to take you on a magical trip in Ojo de Liebre in the northwest Baja Sur state of Mexico. It is located on the Baja Peninsula on the Pacific coast. The best time to go is between February and March, but the season runs between December and April. We went in 2023. We went on this trip with Baja Jones Adventures. I couldn't recommend this group more. This tour starts in San Diego, where the entire tour group stays in the same hotel. You are picked up the next morning by someone who helps you drive from the hotel through the border and then on to a military base in the Ensenada area where you fly for your next leg of your trip. The drive is about 2 hours long, and navigating the border was not difficult with their assistance. We flew on a 15-seater airplane with 2 pilots, with no separation between you and the pilots. I recommend you try to sit up front if you can. We were told that we would have a 10-kilogram carry-on bag limit and a 25-kilogram checked bag limit. However, none of our bags were weighed. The flight was 1.5 hours long, and we flew down the coast, which was quite hilly and mountainous, although pretty. Doing aerial photography, I recommend wearing black so you minimize the reflections of you on the window. You need to look for a clean spot on the window. It's also helpful to put your camera lens as close to the window as possible, again minimizing reflections. But right before we landed, the scenery was drop-dead gorgeous, with beautiful sand dunes and a weaving waterway. Make sure you have your camera ready for this. We arrived at the Guerrero Negro Regional Airport. Can you say limited facilities? From here, we had a choice of either going around the salt flats or through the salt flats. I highly recommend that you go through the salt flats if you have this choice. The salt flats are being mined by Mitsubishi, about 80 million tons of salt per year. About 5% of this is being used for table salt, and the rest is for industrial purposes. Mostly, I didn't care about that. What I cared about was it was beautiful. Our driver let us get out and explore it and take photos. So much fun. Finally, we made it to our shoreside camp, which is located inside the protected Vizcaino Biosphere Reserve. Our camp was located on the shore of Laguna Ojo de Liebre, which translates Eye of the Jackrabbit. This is a shallow, warm lagoon with calm water, offering whales a safe sanctuary to mate and have their babies. There are almost 10 times more whales here than any other winter nursery ground in Mexico. When we went in 2023, there were 10 wood-sided cabin tents, optionally equipped with a toilet. Their dimensions were 17 by 8.5 and about 9 feet tall in the center. Ours did not have a toilet, but I understand some do. There were also 2 round-sided tents. I do not recommend the tents because in the wind, the flapping of the tents was really, really loud. The hard-sided tents were much better. There were 2 porta potties available for those of us who did not have a toilet in our lodging. Number 6. Here we are. It's nice solid construction on the walls. 2 beds and a nice window looking out at the lagoon. So fun. This is the kitchen hut coming up. Pick up every year. They have a bar and a chef. They provide 3 meals a day, and there's really no easy other option for gaining food in this area. Here's the charging station. That's perfect because there's lots of outlets, and they said it's charging basically all throughout the day. Look, it's a flush toilet. I wasn't expecting that. Lots of toilet paper. Here are the showers. And here they are. So you have heated water to be able to take hot showers. That's a really nice feature. From our place on the edge of the lagoon, you could look out and actually see and hear whale activity. Each day we would go out 2 times a day for a boat trip. The drive from the camp to the docks was about 5 minutes or 1 mile. There was notably no internet available at the campground, but there was internet available a mile walk away at the docks. We were scheduled to go out twice a day for whale watching trips. Of our 3 days of scheduled whale watching trips, we went out 5 times. One time we could not go out because the wind was simply too high to allow us to safely access the water. When you get to the dock, once your group is called, you walk out a long wooden pier, passing a covered area which notably has on top an osprey nest. The boat trips are about an hour and a half long, but it takes 20 minutes to get to and from Zona 2, which is the area that we are allowed to go to interact with the whales. And I think Zone 2 is the best of the zones in this lagoon. It is more protected and is not as affected by weather as the other zones. Whale watching is done on a retrofitted fishing boat with a maximum capacity of 10 people. The boat is about 18 feet long. The captain stands in the back, and all the customers are on the bench seats in the front. For fishing, the boats were made to tilt to each side to help them bring in heavy fishing nets. So these boats are perfect for people leaning over trying to touch whales. Again, we went with Baja Jones, and they have a record of over 20 years of trips with successful encounters with whales. I was super happy that we chose to go out with Baja Jones. The other tour groups had to come all the way from town to go out. Sometimes the weather was variable, and it was touch and go about whether we could go out. We could go out with a moment's notice, where other groups had to wait 30 minutes. And sometimes would have to miss their window of opportunities to go see the whales. I think this is perfect symbiotic tourism. The whales are not fed, they're not encouraged to come up to the boats, but they do because they want to interact with the tourists, and oh my gosh, the tourists want to interact with the whales. The whales come down to this area to mate and to have their babies, and they are notably far away from any food source while they're down here. So basically the whales have very little to do as they wait down here for their babies to become strong enough to be able to navigate the waters of the ocean sea. So while they're bored, they decide, I guess, that humans are fun to interact with. I'm so happy for this because I thought they were a blast. And they must know how big they are, because as they rub up against the boat or gently nudge the boat, they are just that, gentle. They seem to know that we're fragile, and if we fell in the water, we'd be in so much trouble out there in the big open lagoon. I found the interactions with the whales beautiful and entertaining and magical, and it made me feel like a kindergartner just to be able to reach out and touch one. And I have to say, I'm absolutely ruined for any whale watching trips where you get to see the whale off in the distance. They get 2,000 or more whales in this one lagoon that we get the privilege of being out in. My understanding is each year the mother whales encourage their baby whales to go up and meet the tourists, and this makes a cycle of more and more whales each year being interested and willing to interact with humans. I thought this trip was amazing, and Baja Jones did a great job I highly recommend this trip.